Aloha kako, welcome to the hearing for the Committee on Agriculture and Food Systems. Today is April 13th. It is 1:05 p.m. and we're convening here in room 312 at the Capitol. Today we have with us Chair Gates, myself, Vice Chair, Representative Cochran, and Representative Ward. I'm just going to go over a few housekeeping rules before we get started. Testimony is limited to 2 minutes. If we received your testimony, please summarize. If anyone will testify over Zoom today, please keep yourself muted and your video off while waiting to testify and after your testimony is complete. The Zoom chat function is only available for tech support. If you get disconnected unexpectedly, you may attempt to rejoin the meeting. If disconnected while presenting testimony, you may be allowed to continue if time permits. Please note that the House is not responsible for any bad internet connections on the testifier's end. In the event of catastrophic network failure, it may be necessary to reschedule this hearing or schedule a meeting for decision making. In that case, an appropriate notice will be posted. Please refrain from any profanity or uncivil behavior. If time permits, we'll allow walk-in testimony. We'll now begin the hearing with our resolutions today from the Senate. The first resolution is SCR 46, requesting the Department of Agriculture to convene a feral game mammal working group to find, solicit, and distribute grants for the control of feral game mammals. We have previous testimony from the Senate received from DLNR and HDOA with comments. Is there anyone else wishing to testify on this measure today? Any questions for committee?
Yes, Madam Chair. I have a question.
It shows my ignorance. I don't know what some of the words are in this particular place, like a mufflin sheep, M-O-U-F-L-O-N sheep. What does that mean? It's a type of sheep, but what does mufflin mean in terms of its type? It just means what kind of sheep? Sorry. It's line 14.
Yes, it's a type of sheep that actually is not helpful to the Mamane forest on Mauna Kea, and also our native Palila bird, which is also only found near Mauna Kea. So, you know, we're trying to ensure protection of those species. So it is a feral animal.
So
that
what
we're
would
trying
you
to
call a non-mufflin sheep then? Sorry. No, it's an immaterial, but it's something that I just didn't know. I thought I knew some vocabulary, but I don't know this one.
On Mauna Kea, it's just the specific breed of sheep that is commonly found there. I think it's the only breed available. So the focus is on how do we support our native species and ensure that any kind of invasive feral species is managed effectively.
I've learned a new word and I see a new photo. It's got horns and it looks almost like an elk. Look at that. That's robust.
They're also on Lanai.
Oh, they are also on Lanai.
Also
Yes,
overnight.
yes.
Any other questions before we move to the next resolution? Okay, we're gonna move on to SCR 92, that is requesting the Department of Agriculture, Department of Land and Natural Resources, Department of Health, the City and County of Honolulu, and the County of Hawaii to collaborate to establish and implement a 5-year pilot program to mitigate and control the significant increase in the population of feral chickens, roosters, and pigs. Would anybody wish to submit testimony at this time? Seeing none, a quick comment that we have heard an almost identical measure in our House resolution hearing several weeks ago, but that didn't get its second hearing, so we want to hear the Senate resolution. Any other questions, comments, concerns from committee?
I would say this is a good bill because it's come to the point where they've gone to numbers almost out of control in some cases. I think it's timely that we put a stop to that. I mean, feral pigs and all the others are nice, but look, they're not supposed to take over our territory.
And I will say the only difference in the House resolution is that pigs were added to the Senate version. There was some opposition to capturing pigs and not utilizing them for food. Any other questions? We will move on to the next resolution. That is SCR 109, urging the Department of Agriculture to designate Kunia, Lelehua Plateau, and Po'omoho as the Central Oahu Agricultural Corridor and establish a list of prioritizing potential agricultural infrastructure improvement projects that would provide the most value to the state. This is identical to a House resolution that was heard several weeks ago by our committee and passed out of committee. Would anyone wish to testify as a walk-in today? Any questions from committee? We will move on to SCR 138, requesting the Department of Agriculture to examine organic pesticides for authorized use in the state. We also heard the House resolution that had passed out of committee before, received much testimony and had discussion on that from departments and community, mostly in support, except with comments from the department. Any questions from committee? Would anyone wish to testify in person on this measure? Seeing none, we're moving on to the last resolution, SCR 110 SD1, urging the University of Hawaii West Oahu to establish a baccalaureate degree program in agricultural technology, food science, and education. We don't have any testimony submitted in advance. Would anyone wish to testify on this resolution in person or via Zoom? This is a companion measure that our chair submitted in the House that didn't get its final hearing, so we would like to hear it today. Had a lot of positive supportive testimony in our last hearing. Any questions from committee? Seeing none, we are going to move directly to decision making.
Nicole says she's coming.
Oh,
You can just pop.
we will just pause rather than recess while we wait for one more member.
What is about to walk in.
Oh, the quorum is,
No, we have
We have quorum
quorum,
already.
but someone communicated they are en route,
Oh.
so we want to respect their
yeah.
ability to come here.
Okay. And then if you can get-
We're just gonna take a brief recess,
I was just-
and we can talk. Welcome back, everyone. We're reconvening our Committee on Agriculture and Food Systems, and we are now here for decision making. So we are gonna move SCR 46 as is. Any questions, comments, concerns from members? With none, chair for the vote.
Thank you, members. Voting on SCR 46. Chair's recommendation is to move this out as is. Chair and Vice Chair vote aye. Rep. Cochran?
Aye.
Rep. Lowen?
Aye.
Rep. Peruso, excuse. Rep. Woodson?
Aye.
Rep. Ward?
Aye.
Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Mahalo, Chair. Moving on SCR 92, moving as is. Any questions, comments, concerns? Vice Chair for the vote.
All right. Members voting on SCR 92. Recommendation is to pass as is, noting all members present in the excused absence of Rep. Peruso. Anyone voting no? Anyone voting reservation? Seeing none, chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Mahalo, Chair. SCR 109, we're going to move that as is as well. Any questions or comments from members? See none, Chair for the vote.
Members voting on SCR 109, recommendation is passed as is, noting all members present and the excused absence of Rep. Peruso. Anyone voting no? Anyone with reservations? Seeing none, recommendation is adopted.
Mahalo, Chair. SCR 138, we're moving this as is. Any questions, comments from members? Chair for the vote.
Members voting on SCR 138, recommendation is passed as is, noting all members present and the excused absence of Rep. Peruso. Anyone voting no? Anyone voting reservation? Seeing none, your recommendation is adopted.
SCR 110 SD1, as is. Any questions, comments from committee? Chair for the vote.
Members voting on SCR 110 SD1, recommendation is to pass as is, noting all members present and the excused absence of Rep. Peruso. Anyone voting no? Anyone voting reservation? Seeing none, your recommendation is adopted.
Mahalo, Chair, for your support. Mahalo, members. Have a wonderful day.